Hello, and welcome to the next episode of the Live Your SpaLife show. SpaLife is a lifestyle that accepts that accomplishment and harmony coexist. The spa and SpaLife is for seek power always, that power within you. And I love introducing to you the guests that I have here who share their journey and all of the things that I know you're going to want to lean into, particularly today. My special guest has been quoted by Jack Canfield as saying that he feels that she is one of the best interviewers on the planet. Her name is Raven Blair Glover, aka Raven, the Talk Show Maven. She's known by many as the queen of interview marketing and conversion. Raven, welcome to the show.
Hey, I'm so excited to be on Diane's show, and I love the colors. I mean, I am embracing every color in there. Let me just feel the vibes. Ooh, I feel my SpaLife coming on, baby.
I love that. You are such a natural, Raven, on radio and just known just across the country and the world. I'm so curious about how, you dreamed about being on radio as a child. Yet your journey did not start till you were 55. Girlfriend, tell us how that happened.
Oh my goodness. When I think about how many years that I had the dream of being on radio since 13 and it didn't kick into 55, I kind of get a little mad because I enjoy it so much, and to be honest, I'm an introvert. And I come from a very, very, I guess you could say, rough childhood, a lot of emotional abuse. So for me to be doing it at the extent that I'm doing it now, sometimes I don't believe it myself, But how it started was mother went to the hospital and I was 55 years old at that time, working a part-time job, making $10 an hour, working 20 hours a week. I know, doesn't take a rocket scientist to figure out I was broke. It's okay. I get it.
Part of the journey.
Yeah. Better late than never, right? So, because my why was never strong enough, I tapped into my mom, the matriarch of the family, being there with twos, all around her, just losing weight and all the stuff she went through, all the stuff we see when someone we love is in the hospital. And when I sat in the chapel, the voice inside me was saying very loud, you need to step up, show up, and grow up. This is your mom. This is the matriarch of the family. She's been there through divorces. She's been there through, lost jobs, getting fired, whatever. And now she needs you like she never did before. And you're freaking 55 years old making $10 an hour. How the hell can you help her? Oops, can we say that? Yeah, I think we can. Thanks to no FCC license. I got this. And so I did. I stepped up, I showed up and growed up. And this is how I did it. I was on a conference call. I didn't have much money back then, but my then husband and my daughter we pitched in so I could take this course called Teleseminar Secrets with my number one mentor, male mentor, is Alex Mendoza. My number one female mentor, Lisa Sasevich. Hey, Lisa. But anyway, I got to squeeze that in too.
Absolutely.
But yeah. But so what happened was, seriously, I just tapped into that. My why was being there for my mom. And this is the message that I like to pass on to your listeners is if your why is not strong enough, you will stay in your mess. So you got to be clear of your why and make sure that you're not doing things because you're skilled at it, or you're not doing things because someone said that you should do it. You need to be doing what you feel inside your gut, your heart and soul says, despite the odds, you need to go for it. And so I heard Alex on a conference call from the hospital say that the quickest way to become an expert, Diane, was to interview experts. And by doing that, you will become an expert and even a celebrity in your niche. You become the Oprah, or at that time, the Larry King in your niche. And, I said, wow, I can do that. I'm in sales. I have a gift of gab. I have great listening skills. I'm going to do that. And right then I drew up, I created my show. I ran around the hospital and said, I'm going to start a show. It's going to be called Women Power. And it's going to empower baby boomer women like me to go for their dreams no matter what. So here's another thing. And part of your SpaLife, you get excited about your life. Others will get excited about your life and your message too. And so the hospital hospital said, you're here every day, day in and out. You and your sister living at this hospital by your mom's side. And I see you on the computer, but there's a hospital wing of people in the waiting room that have to share these two computers. Tell you what we'll do. When the bosses leave, you can come back behind the desk and use that office and do your research. And I Googled how to do a podcast, how to interview, how the heck to get started. And that's how my journey began. That was 2006. In February, I launched my first show, designed at the hospital and launched from my kitchen table on a conference call line, April 23rd, 2006. So just a few months later.
Wow, Raven, what an amazing journey. And I hope that our listeners are really leaning into this, because when you have a big dream and you have a lifetime, almost go by of not realizing that really stepping into why you're doing that, right? The how,
Yeah.
I mean, that unfolds once you decide like how important it is that you're
Make
doing
that decision.
that. We're all here for a deep purpose, right? And to have that be unfulfilled, where they say some of the biggest talents is in the graveyard, because people aren't stepping into their dream and being who it is that they're here to be. And you just took the ball and ran with this. I mean, since you went on to just step into this dream of yours, you've interviewed celebrities, such as Oscar winner Lou Gossett Jr., the acclaimed actress that we know as the Bionic Woman, Lindsay Wagner. I mean, award-winning talk show host Montel Williams, as well as the business icons that we all know and love, from Brian Tracey to Allie Brown, Lisa Sasevich, even J.B. Hill, Napoleon Hill's grandson. I mean, all of these things that, you've just manifested into your life, you stepped into, you did the work, the background to be that, talk show queen of interview, marketing, and conversion. Tell us why you're so passionate about having people ignite this, authority and credibility, and using the mode of interviewing like we're doing here today as their path.
Oh, wow. Thank you for asking me that. I'm passionate, and this is just straight up, because it's changed my life. It's changed me as a person inside, and it changed my finances. It just has changed my life. I just can't say any more than that. I mean, I still have my introverted moments. I still bounce back and forth in my pain of emotional abuse and the stuff that I went through. But interviewing these experts was my therapy, because at that time I couldn't afford therapy. And so by me interviewing Brian Tracey and Jack Canfield and Oscar winner Lou Gossett Jr., people like that, and also everyday ordinary people like us. And I interviewed them on what they did to get out of their pain and how they found their purpose and what strategies and formulas did they use in both their life and their business. Then that rubs off on me. You can't be on there for an hour. And at that time I was spending an hour with these people. And although I love my listeners, I asked the questions that I wanted to know. And see, as a host, you can take questions from your audience, but guess what? You can ask those people the questions that you're dying to know. When you read your book, when you read their book, what question was still left there? When you watched their stream, what question did you want to ask them that you didn't get a chance? This gives you an hour, 30 minutes, 15 minutes that you can ask the questions you want. Right. And that's what I did. And I learned from them. It rubbed off on me. And then, as Alex said, I became the reporter, the Oprah, the go-to gal in my niche of broadcasting. That wasn't my plan. It's so funny, because here's the funny thing, guys. I just got to share this. I'm a keep it real gal, so I'm going to keep it real here, okay? I was going to help mom, and guess what? I didn't even have a money plan. I interviewed people for a year and didn't make a dime until somebody emailed me and said, wow, these interviews are great, but I don't see nowhere on your website where you're making money. How are you making your money? And she was my first client, now a very good friend, Carla Carter. And I totally forgot that. I was just following, okay, do a show. And I want to squeeze that in, because there's a lot of people that watch you, Diane. I mean, you're this famous Miss Beauty Queen here, talk show host. And they're saying, yeah. And I know they're asking, but how did you make money? You're right, because I was making $10 an hour, working 20 hours a week. Now I'm proud to say I'm a 6-figure, growing into 7 figures, and then it's going to keep going. All I do is interview.
Right.
That's it. That is the extent of my business. I teach this 3-step process. It's called the Trinity Triple Threat Interview Process. So we teach you how to be interviewed on shows like Diane's and like mine's. We teach you how to have your own platform in an interview. And it doesn't have to be a radio show if you don't want to be a committed or TV, web TV show. It could be telesummits, like Diane does these amazing telesummits. Have you heard of her telesummits? Is off the hissy. Do they still say that? I think so. You can tell I'm in my 60s. I'm using these terms.
It's all good. People get what that is. So,
there you go.
Raven, I'd love for you to go a little bit deeper in terms of, like, you were doing your passion, but there wasn't anything tied monetarily to that. And that was one of your original intentions, was to support your mom and to, rise above that $10 an hour. So how did you make the leap from giving from your heart and connecting with people and doing the interviews and then being able to monetize that?
Good question. Well, here's what I did. I took money that I didn't have, and I invested in Alex showing me how to make money. He used to have this thing called his limo coaching. And when he would go to the airport, which was like about a 20-minute ride from his house, if you wanted to pick his brain, you paid $200. And he threw that out one day, right at the time I was trying to say, okay, what am I going to do to make money? And he made that offer, and I got on the phone and I called 10 people and I said, I need to borrow $25 from you. I don't know when I'm going to pay it back, but I will pay it back. And they gave it to me, and I paid for Alex to show me how to make money.
That is amazing. First of all, I love the 20-minute limo, conversation. I mean, what a great model, that alone. But the fact that you, as an introvert, stepped out of your comfort zone because you knew you were here to do something bigger and to ask. I mean, that's, I think, one of the things that, I know a lot of our listeners, they don't want to ask for support.
Oh my God, you got to ask.
You have to. I mean, we have all this wisdom locked within us, but a lot of times that's exactly it. It's locked within us, and it's our mentors and it's the people that we surround ourselves with and who we're asking for that support to allow us to get to that next level. I mean, we are tribal, we're community. I mean, we are here to, leverage on the things that people have done before us and to take advantage of that. And I know that, you've talked about how you're really designing your life now. I mean, you're using some of the very specific qualities that you've learned from people that you've interviewed, that now for years that you've been assimilating into your life. I'd love for you to share more of how you are actually designing your life and what that looks like. And definitely tell us about how you create, purpose-driven maps.
Absolutely. Well, one of the things that of designing my life that I found I had to do first, Diane, was really dive deep into gratitude. You see, I was missing the small moments, and it was keeping me from having the big moments. So one part of me designing my life is taking time out, as they used to say, another old school one. I told you guys that's who I am. Is I began to start taking time to smell the roses. You've heard that term, right, Diane?
Absolutely.
And that's really important in designing your life and designing that perfect spa life, because, you have to really realize that each blessing that you have, no matter how minute it is, to get to the big one. I don't think you can, I think it's kind of like you got to go through it to appreciate it even more so when you have it. So that was a huge part, tapping into my blessings and giving gratitude for everything, for waking up, because that, that's no guarantee. Hello, so start with that, waking up. And then the other thing is I, got a vision board. And when I started thinking about interviewing who I wanted to interview, I would cut out pictures of Jack Canfield, Jane Kennedy, even Alex, because at that time, I was just a student. I hadn't got to know him personally at all. And so these people were on my vision board. And then I would even put their faces on my computer and on near my phone. And so every day I was talking to them until I got comfortable enough. You talked about to ask for the interview. And I got really good at asking. That's a huge part of designing my life, is asking for help, asking for the interview, asking for sales. I teach this thing called the irresistible ask. And there's a way that you can ask that where you're more likely to get a yes than a no. Here's the other thing. Part of the irresistible ask is knowing who to ask, when to ask, why to ask. And, and that's really important, because if you ask people at the wrong time, you're going to get that no. So you have to ask when they're not crazy busy. You have to ask when the timing is right. And we don't have time to go into that now, but I just want them to know there's an art to asking. Okay. Mm-hmm. And you got to get past yourself and your needs. And you got to look at, I call it WIFT, which what's in it for them.
Right.
Okay.
Right.
Why should they help you?
Right.
Another thing I did is I invited people to a virtual lunch. So people like Alex Mendosian and people that I just wanted to pick their brain and really figure out how to get out of this the financial mess and stuff that I was going through, and even some of the emotional mess. I would invite them to a virtual lunch, and I would tell them, just send me, just let me know where you want to eat. And I would tell them between 25, 50 or $100, and I'll buy you lunch if you'll spend 15, 20 minutes on the phone with me and let me ask you questions that I need help with. Mm-hmm. And I teach my students how to invite those people to virtual lunch and have the conversations, get the help that you need.
Right. I love that so much. I mean, this is so important. I want to recap this, because I know a lot of times, our listeners are driving in their car and they may miss some of these jewels that you're sharing. And, one of the important things that, we teach here at SpaLife, especially about, designing your life and about creating your environment. So the environment of the vision board, actually having the pictures of the people around you, you're seeing mm-hmm. them, you are really literally virtually in their environment. You're seeing them, you're connecting, you're having that energy that's there. I do the same thing, for myself and my clients. It's so important to create the environment that supports you. Right. And then also the smelling the roses. That is such an important key. I think a lot of times people can get so caught up in the minutia of life that they don't realize why they're doing what they're doing. Particularly for, female entrepreneurs who want to spend more time with their family, but yet they feel guilty because they're working, or then when they're working, they're not with their family. And just really distilling that down to those priceless moments of what that looks like, and to actually have that as part of the plan. It's not going to just fit in if you don't design that and have that happen. So I love that that's an intention of yours. That's something that, I think will be really great for our listeners to embrace, is that those moments are the magic moments that you actually need to inspire you to keep that why, to keep the things that you're doing, is that you're doing the things that you absolutely love. And that takes me to us really looking at that sense of people feeling so busy, right? This busyness I feel is like the obsession that people are having, and they forget that we get to design our life, and that you need to reclaim your power with your time. So how is it I know you structure a lot of things around social media and when you spend time with your family. Tell us a little bit more of how you are really making the most and the impact of your time.
Oh, wow. That's so important. I feel that we all need to do. We can control our day, just like we're the architects of our life, architectures of our life. We can actually control the flow of our day. And you did mention social media. One thing that I do is I get up a couple hours earlier than I'm supposed to get up. And that's when I do, I'm supposed to get up at 8, but I get up like at 5, something like that,
That's real.
Yeah, that's real. And so that's the time I'll go on social media and do all those type of things, or either after work, like 7 in the evening, 8, 9, I'll go back on there. I try not to make that a big part of my day, because that's a portion of my business and a tool I use, but that's not income producing. So one thing I do is, of course, pre-plan before. And so I know exactly what I'm going to do, exactly what time I get up. And I really do get up a couple hours early, sometimes 3 hours early, to get some of the frivolous stuff done before the phone rings and stuff. And then also to complete projects. So I think you have to really control the flow of your day by not doing the things that are time wasters. Okay, I love social media, but it can be a time waster unless you are a social media pro and you got this thing down and it is building your business phenomenally, and that's the way you do things. But if you're like me and you're just trying to figure the crap out, hire somebody, save yourself some time. Yes. You might be thinking you don't have the money, but go ahead and do it. Get somebody to pre-post that stuff. And yeah, go in there every now and then, but do it on the time, not your income producing time. Another thing I do, I'm very clear on my intentions for the day. And my intentions for the day always involve, where's my glasses? Making some money, honey. Oh, yeah. Okay. Yeah. Okay.
Girl. What?
I got another pair for you. Watch this. I may rock my interview talk. Yeah. But it's not without making some money, honey.
I love it.
Okay. And I always keep these things around me to remind me they're part of my intentions, make some money, honey. Yeah. And so my intentions is clear. I'm going to make some money. I know I'm going to be doing interviews either 3 ways, in being interviewed as a guest, being interviewed as a host, or interviewing my clients. And that's what we teach. So you got to be intention of your day. And big part of your intentions, what I learned from Alex, is 90% of your day needs to be income producing. So if you're going to design your spa life and be like the housewives and spend a lot of your day in the spa or shopping, yeah, that's one of my goals. Okay, you didn't laugh. All right, well, anyway.
I get it, sister.
Okay.
That's part of smelling the roses, right? I mean, it's all part of it, but you got to look at, you got to feel that.
Yeah, be on the ships and do the stuff that they do. You got to put that 90% of hard work making money. And part of my, being too busy is not being too busy to make money, being very clear of what I'm going for during the day and why, and being very clear, as I said earlier, who to reach out to that's more likely to say yes than no. I keep this timer by my desk, and I'm going to set it at 90 minutes and break things down into 90-minute chunks. Okay.
That's awesome.
When that bell goes off, it's over. Okay. I'm moving to the next, and I'll mark where I'm stopped. And then either I'm going to set the timer again if it's a priority. If not, I'm going to come back to it. So those are some of the things. Oh, I call my friends and family and I tell them when I'm going on what I call and what I teach my clients, lockdown. And what that is, and right now, I don't know when this is going to air, but right now I'm in the middle of one of the biggest projects I've done, where I created the first ever all talk show hosts book that they're featuring their best interviews. Diane, you're in that book. Yay! And it's called Conversations Behind the Mic. I also got to interview 50 people because there's 50 people we're featuring in there. So I just contacted my radio host, my family and friends, and I said, look, if you need anything from me, it needs to be done before this Friday, because Friday I'm going on lockdown. And until this book comes out July 30th, I'm not doing any coaching. I'm not going to lunch with anybody but my husband, because he lives here with me. But anybody else, I can't have no friendly time, family time or anything. So get in contact with your people and let them know what you're doing. And listen, here's what I said. I need your help. I'm in the middle of doing the biggest project I've done. And I'm going to need your help to not call me, not text me, no distractions for 30 days so I can get this finished. Yeah. And then afterwards, I'm going to take you to lunch and we'll celebrate this together. So tell your friends what you're doing. Let them be part of your dream. I'm talking about the good friends, the right ones, the ones that are rooting up for you. Exactly. And then go on lockdown. For me, it's going to be, for the next at least 20, 25 days, getting the book and everybody interviewed. Right. And then the rest is doing all the back end stuff, the emails, the tweets, and get my affiliates and stuff. So map out the time that you have to do this. Mm-hmm. And I teach my clients sometimes to go on weekend lockdowns, a 24-hour lockdown. But you let the people know that's close to you what you're going to do. And you don't go out those guidelines. That's really, really huge. And delegate. Have different people help you do things. What can you do? I just talked to someone and she said that she proofreads. The girl that's doing my book, she doesn't proofread. Perfect. You'll be surprised when you do the right things, the right people that you need are attracted to you. Haven't you found that, Diane?
Oh,
and
yeah,
it makes
absolutely.
It a lot
you set
easier.
That intention, and then you let the people who are your cheerleaders around you know about that. And what I love about the lockdown is that it's not forever. I mean, we know a lot of people that they never come up for air, and they aren't living a life of harmony, one that they really love. But to have these concentrated period of time to get the things done that you need to get done. And then to have that celebration, because that's another thing that people tend to forget is they just go on to the next thing. But to celebrate along the way, that is definitely going to make for a more happy life, a more rewarding, at the end of all the things that you're accomplishing is really huge to be able to have that experience. And, speaking of rewarding, I mean, Raven, you've been the recipient of the 2016 Presidential Lifetime Achievement Award, the Outstanding Global Women Leadership Award, and the Giant Community Award. I mean, with all of this recognition that you've had, what's next for you?
Oh, my goodness. You know what? I am just trying to really focus on, one of my models is don't wait to be great, do it now.
So great.
That's always been, won't say always been, but in the past, I would say 5 years, that's been a huge model for me. And so, I got to flash this. Hold on one second. Bam!
Woo!
There you go, Barack Obama.
Woo, woo, celebration.
Right there. Hey, I'm in gratitude. What can I say?
So great.
Yeah, but no. So what I'm focusing on now is one project at a time, and this conversations behind the mic book that you're doing with us as one of the awesome talk show hosts is huge for me because you heard me say talk shows have changed my life and interviews have changed my life. So I am doing this book and this project, and it's so huge because I wanted to keep going and changing lives, keep people to keep listening to your interviews and my interviews and all of our talk show host interviews. But the other side is I am on a mission to change the way people think of talk show hosts. I mean, people are always wanting to be on our shows, but then you ask them to pay money and then they're like, you charge, So I'm bringing value to the talk show industry by having, these amazing interviews in our book and these amazing hosts. So my mission now is just to change the industry of talk show hosts so that they won't be like me doing these great interviews and not making any money. I'm helping them go from talk show host to talk showpreneur, baby. Did you hear? I said preneur.
I love that so much. And I'm so honored to be part of the book and your project and your mission, because I'm with you. I really believe that these interviews are changing not only our lives, but the lives of our listeners. I mean, they get to hear the insights of all the people that we are talking to, and they now don't have to reinvent the wheel. They get to learn from the people that are successful and that have cracked a formula in a certain way that have helped them move forward in what it is that they're doing. So, before I forget, one of the things I love to ask my listeners, or actually to ask my guests, is that, you create environment. You've got your vision board and you've got your people around. I believe that environment is everything. How you create your space and how it is that supports you really pulls you towards the thing that you like to do. And we have different experiences, whether we're in our bedroom or our kitchen or our family room. What is your favorite room and why?
Ooh, that is a tough one. I don't think I have a favorite room. I have a favorite chair in a room.
Okay, I like that.
Okay. And believe it or not, it's a old lounge chair that probably needs to be thrown away.
But you love it.
I absolutely love it. In fact, I wouldn't even show it to you guys. But I tell you, when I put my little tush tush in that chair and I lean back and put my feet up, oh.
I love it. Oh my gosh. So much.
And I'm just keeping it real. It's about that chair for me. I try to sit in that chair 3 or 4 times a day. I take my paper over there. I'm getting my notes in there. It's a feel-good chair, Right. My husband would love for me to throw it out. but yeah. It feels so comfortable, and it helps me push me into creativity. I listen to my jazz music and stuff there. So it's my chair, that makes me feel good. Right. Now, I remember before I got married, I had this room in my house, this one room in my apartment complex, because my mom used to give me carousels when I was younger, and I got them up to the point of both of them passing away. Mm-hmm. In fact, both of their last gifts to me was a carousel, and they both passed away like almost 20 years apart. Okay. Wow. So, and I used to wind them up and go in the room and cut the lights out because some of them lit up. And I guess I finally, after mom them, I actually really think I disconnected with it after my parents passed because it was so much of a tradition with them.
Right.
I kept it for a few years, and then it just kind of, the life with Khalik is a whole different life now.
Right.
Hey guys, by the way, 3 husbands is not the charm, it's the 4th one. So skip over the 3 and hurry up and get to the 4th. Because that's when the SpaLife baby began. Oh, yeah, the SpaLife baby begins. Okay, that wasn't planned in the script, but I had to say that.
I love it.
Yeah.
It's good because people have this vision of the journey that we go on to get to where we're going, and we go through life. We have things happen. I mean, when I was with the police department, as a single mom, I mean, there's all these different things that people don't see. They see the success at the end of the journey, but we're always learning, and we're using our life experience.
Yes.
As part of that. And I think that it's just so important to share that as part of, what we're doing here. And Raven, I know you and I could talk all day long. I know that you have a free gift for our audience.
Yes, absolutely. Well, I would love for them. And let me ask you this. Are you giving them a link? Because believe it or not, I don't have okay. I would like for them to get my Talk Show Magic book. That's what I really want. So can I just give them a link?
Yes, yes.
Post? Okay.
Yeah, you can tell them, and then in the show notes, we'll post it.
Right. So let me just grab this real quick, and if my green screen does funky stuff, don't worry about it. It's okay. All right. So this is my Talk Show Magic book. And a lot of the things that I talked about is in here. It teaches you how to be an irresistible talk show host, gain massive exposure, and interview celebrities. But there's some money tips in here. And there is a page where I interview some pros. I don't know if many of you may have remembered Jane Kennedy back in the day. She's like the first African-American sportswoman. Worked with Muhammad Ali and different things. Some tips from her is in there and different things like that on broadcasting. So Talk Show Magic will give you the Talk Show Magic, baby, when you're doing your talk show. So you can get this for free. I'll give Diane the link. And then for those people that are serious, I take my glasses off and really look at you. Yes. Those of you that are serious and not just curious, and you want to take your business truly to the next level, you want to break through those barriers, I mean, really, and use the power of your voice to do it, whether you're doing it on video, live stream, podcast, radio, and really master the art of asking. We call it irresistible ask, mastering the art of interviewing, and mastering the art of being the go-to guy or gal in your niche by being the reporter, the Oprah, the Larry King, the whoever it is that you look up to in the talk show world. Then please send me an email to talkshowmaven@gmail.com, talkshowmaven, Maven, @gmail.com, and put on there breakthrough interviewing. And I will teach you how to break through your fear and your procrastination to interviewing the top experts out there that will hook your wagon to their wagon, and you'll tap into their affluent clients so that you can get more affluent clients, and wear your glasses too and say, ka-ching, 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 ching, ching. Show you right. Talkshowmaven@gmail.com. That's for the serious and not the curious.
I love that, Raven. I mean, I'm sure people are going to be stepping into that and wanting to connect with you. And, is there any other way that you'd like people to be able to stay in contact with you?
I think that's enough. I mean, Google me. I'm all over the place, front way, sideways, backwards. It's all good.
They'll find you all over the place. Perfect.
Yeah. Awesome. Yeah. Just reach out to me, and like Tiffany Radish said, she ready to help you when you're ready.
I love that. I love that so much. And so for our listeners, if you're curious about, this conversation that Raven and I have been having around living your spa life and standing in your power and really stepping into your purpose and really looking how you can create your environment, I also have a free gift for you of going to liferesetquiz.com. That'll take you just a couple minutes. It's the liferesetquiz.com, and that'll give you the awareness, because that is the first step of being aware of where you are now and where you want to go, and be able to support you in that space. And Raven and I would love to have you put in the comments, whether it's on Facebook or in YouTube, about, what is your takeaway from the show? What is it that you heard something differently? Maybe you heard it before, but you heard it in a different way that you want to implement it. Put in the comments. And also, we would love to support you. So, make sure that you tag both of us, and we'll come around and answer any questions that you have. And we want to support you to be living the life that you want to live, and to not wait till you are, older or someday or when it happens, that you can step into it now. And I love what you say, Raven, about don't wait to be great, to do it now. I mean, these are the times to step in and make that happen. So Raven, thank you so much for your time and your energy and your brilliance and sharing yourself here on the show.
Yeah, you're so welcome, Diane. And I just want to applaud you. Great stuff you do. Hey, look, it's got the colors in your rainbow. Look,
I love it. Thank you so much.
You're doing such a great job, and you are rocking it, honey. And for all of you that listen and watch Diane, just remember that don't look at these as just another interview. Look at how you can get closer to your breakthrough of having the spa life that you want, one interview at a time. So you're right.
Wonderful. Thanks again, Raven. So appreciate it. All right, listeners, thank you so much for sharing your precious time with us. And until we connect again, live your spa life. Bye for now.